Okay, so you've probably heard the term organization culture thrown around a million times, right? But what if I told you it's not just some fluffy corporate buzzword? What if it's the actual personality of your workplace, something you can literally feel the second you walk through the door? Well, today, we're going to strip all that jargon away and get to what it really means. Let's dive in. So let's just jump right in with a killer example, Zappos. Now, these guys didn't just sell shoes. Their entire mission, their whole reason for being, was to deliver wow. And that wasn't just a slogan on a poster. No, that idea was baked into everything they did, from who they hired to how long their customer service calls could be. And get this, it's what turned them into a billion-dollar company. They proved their real product wasn't shoes at all. It was an absolutely unforgettable experience. Okay, so that Zappos story really nails it. When we talk about culture, what are we really talking about? Well, the simplest, most powerful way to think about it is exactly that. It's the personality of a company. You know, if you want the more formal definition, it's basically the set of shared values that define how things are done around here. But here's what's so fascinating. A company's personality isn't something you create overnight in a boardroom. It grows slowly, almost like a living thing, through all the little rituals, the inside jokes, the shared habits. It's the stuff that shapes every single interaction. And hey, just like a person isn't one-dimensional, a company isn't just one single culture either. You've got the dominant culture, that's kind of the main personality that most people share. But then you've got these little pockets, these subcultures. You've seen it, right? The engineers have their own way of doing things, their own language, while the marketing team has a totally different vibe. They're both part of the same company, but they've got their own mini personalities. Okay, so a company has a personality. Cool. But so what? Why should anyone, especially a leader, actually care about this stuff? Well, here's why. Because when you understand it and you actually nurture it, that personality stops being just fluff, and it becomes a genuine strategic superpower. A strong, healthy culture really does some heavy lifting for you in 4 key ways. First off, it cranks up productivity because everyone is rowing in the same direction. Second, it becomes a massive part of your strategy. It's not just what you do, it's how you win. Third, it acts like a magnet for the right people, the ones who are just going to click. And finally, it's like an invisible compass, guiding everyone to make the right calls without needing a 10,000-page rulebook. And look, this isn't just some feel-good idea. This is a hardcore business principle. The legendary strategist Michael Porter himself said that you have to embed your culture right into the heart of your strategy. And why is that so important? Because that's how you build a competitive advantage that is real, that lasts, and that your competitors will find almost impossible to copy. All right, so if a culture is a personality, what are the main personality types you see out there? Well, there's this really cool model called the Competing Values Framework that helps us map them out. And the best part is, it boils it all down to just a couple of simple questions. So here's what it all comes down to. You just have to ask 2 basic things about a company. First, is it all about flexibility and letting people make their own calls, or is it more about stability and control? And second, is the focus internal, on its own people and processes, or is it external, out there, looking at the market and the competition? Okay, so once you answer those questions, you start to see the types emerge. First up, the clan culture. This is what you get when you have that internal focus combined with high flexibility. And honestly, it feels just like a family. It's all about teamwork, looking out for each other, mentorship. You know the vibe. The perfect example here is Southwest Airlines, which is just legendary for its people-first approach. All right, now let's keep that same flexibility, but swing the focus to the outside world. What do you get? An adhocracy culture. This is basically the innovator's sandbox. It's super dynamic, entrepreneurial, and it absolutely thrives on taking risks. You got to think of Google here, with its famous small company feel that's all about sparking creativity and big new ideas. Okay, let's flip the script completely. Now what happens when you mix that internal focus with a big dose of control? You get the hierarchy culture. This is the ultimate planner. It's formal, it's structured, and its main goal in life is efficiency. The poster child for this is, of course, McDonald's. Those super precise rules are why you can get the exact same Big Mac in Moscow or Miami. It's all about process. And last but not least, our 4th type. Combine that external, outward focus with high control, and bam, you've got a market culture. This is the competitor. It's all about results, it can be pretty aggressive, and it is laser focused on hitting its goals.
General Electric under Jack Walsh was the absolute icon for this. With that legendary rule, you're either number one or number two in your market or you're out. Talk about a results or else mentality, right?
So it's great to know the four types, but that brings up the big question. How do you intentionally build one of these personalities to really drive high performance? Because here's the thing, any group of people is going to form a culture by accident. The best ones, though, they are built very carefully and completely by design. Well, the blueprint for it really boils down to four essential actions. It all starts at the top, with leaders who are constantly championing the vision, always explaining the why behind the work. Next, you absolutely have to measure what matters and be transparent about it so everyone can see how they're contributing. Third, you've got to empower your people, invest in them, and then recognize and reward awesome performance. And finally, you tie it all together with real accountability at every single level. Okay, so building a great culture is one thing, but keeping it alive, that's a whole other ballgame. Just like a personality, it has to be nurtured to stay healthy and strong for the long haul. So, how do you actually do that? The secret is in what experts call cultural artifacts. Now, that sounds fancy, but it's really just all the visible, tangible stuff, the stories people tell, the symbols you see, the rituals everyone participates in. These are the things that reinforce the company's values every single day. Let's look at a few really powerful examples. First up, you've got organizational myths. These things are incredibly powerful. Take the famous story about Steve Jobs always parking in a handicap spot. Now, whether it's 100% true or not almost doesn't matter. The story perfectly captures a cultural ideal at Apple that the rules don't really apply to the geniuses who are busy changing the world. It's a story that reinforces a core and very specific value.
But it's not just about myths. You see culture in the company's sagas, right? Like the heroic tale of Mary Kay Ash building her cosmetics empire from scratch. You hear it in the language people use, like how Walmart is just relentlessly focused on always low prices, always. You see it in symbols, like Ronald McDonald, who's all about fun and family. And of course, you see it in ceremonies, like those famous, lavish awards Mary Kay gives to its top sellers. It's all about publicly celebrating what matters most. And a truly healthy, resilient culture isn't just about one thing. It's multidimensional. It needs constant attention across a bunch of key areas. We're talking about a deep focus on quality in everything you do, an absolute non-negotiable commitment to ethics, a constant push for innovation, a real, genuine respect for diversity, and of course, a deep, deep connection to your customer. The very best cultures even find room for something you might call spirituality, a sense of purpose that goes way beyond just making money. So let's bring this all home. Here's the most crucial takeaway. Every single organization on the planet has a culture. Period. It exists whether you're paying attention to it or not. The only question is, was it built with careful, deliberate design? Or did it just happen by accident? So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. Think about your own workplace. Which one was it?